Hey guys, and welcome to the new episode of Full Travel, and today I'll show you one of BMW models I'm most excited about. This is the brand new fully electric iX and it's the most high-tech BMW model ever made, and today I'll show you why. And yes, we have to start the review with the design of the car, which is pretty shocking when you see it first. But in reality, just like the BMW M4, the car doesn't look that bad in real life. I know I'm saying this as an excuse, but I actually think these massive grills work with the overall design of the front of the car. And yes, they're not real because there is no engine here, they're just a design element, and they have this bronze accent which is throughout the whole car. Overall, the front looks pretty modern and distinctive. You have these laser headlights and a lot of aerodynamic elements, such as these air vents here, which are in fact real. And you also get these creases on the hood, just like the M4, which give the car a little bit of a sportier and more aggressive look. Overall, it's not a piece of art by any means, but it does look modern and distinctive, which is okay. And even though the BMW iX is a fully developed EV platform from the ground up, still there is no frunk, and if you're wondering how exactly do you change the fluids of this car, you press the badge right here and it opens like this and you fill it up. And another pretty cool thing is that you get a special new key for this car, which is only available on this model. It looks a lot more elegant and futuristic, but it's actually pretty cheap and plasticky, and I wish BMW made it a little bit higher quality. So the side of this BMW iX definitely doesn't have the shape of a regular SUV because it's electric. It kind of looks like a minivan and an SUV blended in one. Definitely not the best looking shape, but it's all about the aerodynamics. Here we have 21-inch aerodynamic wheels again, which are pretty ugly and look small on this gigantic car, and of course we have these bronze elements which go throughout the whole car and definitely make the color pop a lot more. Overall, not the best looking side of the car, but I think the shape works and it looks distinctive and different than the majority of BMW SUVs which they offer. And if you're wondering where are the charging ports, there on the side of the car you have this massive door, you have AC and DC charging, and the overall time is 0 to 80% in about 3 or 4 hours depending on how fast is your charger. And you have probably noticed in the past few years that car manufacturers definitely hate door handles and no new model gets any real door handles. But BMW has done a pretty adequate solution here, so you put your fingers here, you press a little button and the door opens. It's pretty easy and it's not a gimmick. What's also pretty cool is that when you want to lock the car, you just press right here and the ambient lighting shines in red, and when you unlock it, it shines in green. So while the front of this car definitely isn't the best angle of it, I think the rear actually looks pretty nice. It's compact, it's German, and it's actually sporty. We have these extremely beautiful and thin rear lights which look very good. We have a massive diffuser down here, we have a spoiler and a BMW badge which is blue, of course, because the car is electric. We also have a very cool license plate which says EV50, which is pretty much the model's name. Of course, buying such a big car, it's all about the practicality, and the BMW iX does pretty well. We have 500 liters of boot space, which is actually pretty decent, even though the Mercedes EQC in fact has more. Also, the whole boot is pretty shallow, so you cannot load too big items, and you have this storage department right here where you can put your cables and stuff like that. Also, what's pretty cool is that you get these lights here, so when you have the trunk open, the others will see you on the road, which is a regulation for the US market, but I think it looks pretty cool. So the interior of this BMW iX is the closest thing we ever going to get from a concept to an actual road car. It's absolutely mind-blowing and it's radically different from everything we have seen from BMW so far. So let's start with the seats. These are the comfiest and the softest seats I have ever been in, and they not only look amazing but are in fact extremely comfortable. We also have this blue suede material which is vegan of course and sustainable and so on and so forth, but it definitely looks amazing in this blue color, and absolutely everything around the car is wrapped in it. There is no plastic at all and it looks amazing. We also have this brand new screen setup, So now you have the iDrive system and the digital dials in the same screen, but they're still separated. Here we also have brand new digital dials, which are even more confusing than the last ones, but at least they do look better. We also have a new iDrive system, which looks a lot more high-tech than the last one, but it's a bit more confusing and it takes some time to get used to. You have many new menus, a lot of options to customize, and it kind of looks like an Android phone, which is giving me PTSD. And unfortunately, BMW has also fallen into the trap of turning the AC into the screen, so you no longer have physical buttons here and you actually have to use these ones, and you have this horrible and cluttered menu, which I don't even want to look at. But the rest of the car, no buttons at all. The seat controls are these extremely beautiful crystal things which look like a piece of art and are amazing. You open the door with a button just like a Tesla. You have this Bauer Wilkins system which is amazing, and this brand new center console. So you have crystal buttons for the volume and the iDrive and a new crystal gear selector, but they no longer look tacky and I think they actually look pretty cool. And in this car you get one of the best audio systems you can buy in any production vehicles. It's Bowers & Wilkins. You have speakers on the roof and you even have one inside the seats, and it sounds pretty amazing. So, if you're looking for a big car, this BMW iX definitely does offer the space in the back. You have massive amounts of headroom and knee room at the same time, and you can comfortably sit 3 adults here. You also have 2 USB ports for everybody, and you have this ugly thing that you have to put a coat hanger here, which is actually pretty cheap. You get a separate climate control in the back, and in terms of comfort and space, you definitely get everything you're ever going to need. So let's see how this BMW iX is like to drive. Now this car is fundamentally different than what you usually expect from BMW. Yes, it has 530 horsepower, but it's not a sporty car by any means. In fact, I think this is the most relaxing car that we have ever had on the channel. It's extremely quiet on the inside. There is no wind noise at all, even above 100 miles an hour, because of the aerodynamics. The suspension is also very soft and it goes over bumps and imperfections with ease that is definitely unusual for BMW. Also, the steering wheel is very light if you're not in sport mode, and you can maneuver with ease thanks to the rear wheel steering. So you have a package that is very quiet, relaxing and soft to drive even with 530 horsepower. I don't know if BMW is going to release a faster M version of this car, which might be a little bit sportier, but I think this car strikes perfect balance because BMW knows people who are looking to buy this car want a big family SUV, and this car delivers this experience. But the important question, is it fast? Well, it definitely feels fast when you press the accelerator, and it accelerates to its top speed with ease. Of course, it goes only up to 155 miles an hour, but that should be plenty if you aren't living in Germany. And still, it's pretty good for an electric car. And yes, it's pretty heavy. Even though BMW engineers have done their magic to hide the weight and size of the car, you can still say that it's a heavy car, especially when you're braking hard. But something that really impressed me are the brakes. Now, most electric cars have shitty brakes which are mushy and you cannot tell the progressiveness, so you cannot really dose how much you have to use them. But here BMW has done their magic again, and you actually have brakes that feel like they're not in an electric car. Yes, you still have regeneration on them, but they feel very precise, which means you can go faster with more confidence. Overall, even in the turns, the car doesn't lean too much because the weight is in the battery, but still, it's not an M4, but you can go silly fast in a car of this size, but it still feels like it's not meant to do that. It's meant to go in a straight line and in low speeds where the car is perfect. But it's nice to know that it won't roll around if you take a bend with a little bit more speed. Overall, I think the iX is one of the best EVs on the market if you're looking for a big family relaxing car. It's not a sporty electric SUV by any means, even though it has 500 horsepower, but it's a very good and a very complete package with soft suspension, light steering, and pretty much no noise in the cabin. It's a perfect car for family or road tripping. But if you're looking for electric M car, this is definitely not it, but still a very accomplished car, and I think it does a lot of things better even than Tesla Model X. And now it's time for the most important part of testing any EV with a lot of horsepower, the launch control. Here we don't really have a launch control, but you press on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. So let's see what this car can do. Here we go. It definitely pushes you back to your seat, and it feels very quick for 500 horsepower. So let's see what times did we get. Here we have 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, which is actually pretty impressive for such a big car, and you can win a lot of traffic light drag races with this big car. And let's see how much electricity does this car use. Here we have 26.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is actually pretty good for a car of this size. And we were also using launch controls and pressing the throttle pretty hard. Under more relaxed driving you can get 22, which is pretty decent. The battery is now on 57% and we have 250 kilometers, so the total range on 100% battery is about 500 kilometers or 300 miles, which is pretty impressive for such a big car. Something else that is pretty unique to this car is that you get frameless windows just like in a coupe, and the ambient lighting can be seen from outside of the car. Finally, BMW has decided to put new colors for the ambient lighting, so now you have pink, red, yellow, turquoise, and you can be cool just like Mercedes drivers on Instagram, and you can put more funky colors on the car. The BMW iX is a truly impressive car which showcases the next generation of BMW electric vehicles. Here the exterior and the interior are absolutely next generation, and I'm very excited to see when all of those technologies drip down into the lesser and more accessible models. But until then we have a massive and very complicated, maybe a bit weird looking but very capable SUV, which is an excellent choice for anybody who doesn't really care about the price and wants the biggest and the most technological SUV that you can get.